Friday, September 26th, and you're watching the Hammer Daily. I'm your host here, Jason Cooper, alongside Jacob Gramegna, and we got a great show for you today. I had a great time last night on the watch along. Tons of fun. Little tired
bank account didn't.
My bank. I honestly played responsibly, but I got waxed on the Zach Charbonnet stuff. Happens. Hitman comes on, gives out his first loser live on the watch along. Got waxed. It is what it is. But I will say that Thursday night football game, it was boring, and then the ending was like pure adrenaline rush, where I was up until almost 2 a.m. because my heart was still racing because I was, first of all, the Charbonnet sweat, second of all, the game itself, just so much going on, couldn't fall asleep.
Great finish, and even with a bad football game, the watch-alongs we do on the Forward Progress channel are always fantastic and always make the game watchable, because at least you have that and all the people in the chat to hang out with. It makes any bad game way more enjoyable, and the good games even better.
Yes, of course. It was a great time. So, we'll run it back on Monday, but we were with G-Stack last night. He's batting leadoff today. He's going to be talking some NFL Survivor. We're going to be going through our pick last week, which lost. But listen, this isn't a real Survivor pool for us, so hopefully you didn't tail us. We gave you a couple other options. Hopefully you took the Chiefs. Hopefully you took the Bills. And we'll kind of talk through the contest, who we like this week, who are some potential landmines, things like that. Yeah, there it is. We had a great start, by the way. Jags, Cardinals, and then just ruined it with the Falcons.
You just faded Carolina.
Okay, you know what? Don't reveal the strategy. We might come into play this week, all right?
It could.
And then after George, we have Austin Mock coming in. He's going to talk some college football, some games that he's already bet on. He's going to talk a little bit about how good my USC Trojans are, even though they're playing a noon game. He's not afraid of that number of 6.5. I don't know. I'm putting words in his mouth right now, but I'm not afraid of that 6.5. I'm looking at USC alts, USC everything. Beat the absolute wheels off this Illinois team. And then last but not least, we have Iain MacMillan. MacMillan! As some people know him, coming on to join the show. He's going to talk a little bit about some Toronto sports, the Blue Jays, some Ryder Cup stuff, then we're going to talk NFL as well. A little bit of a mixed bag with Iain to end the show. And as always, remember, this show is as much our show as it is your show. So if you're a chat member, if you're in the chat right now, send us a message, ask a question. We'll be going through the chat as we move along through the show, so don't be afraid to ask any questions in the chat for any of the guests or even for myself. One of my favorite segments of the watch along is the question time with myself when whoever I'm with goes to the bathroom. So yeah, we'll talk about that stuff. We'll have a great day. Before we get into things, I want to give a quick shout out to one of our sponsors, which is BetStamp Pro. Absolutely love using BetStamp Pro, and if you are someone who likes to bet on sports, you kind of need BetStamp Pro. And right now they are running a 14-day free trial, courtesy of us at the Hammer, where you can unlock the main market screen without the full props package for just $99 a month when billed annually. The Pro screen is built for speed. It's built for precision. It tracks over 150 sports books, including offshores, exchanges, PPHs, that some other odd screens might miss. And as a Hammer listener, like I said, you're not just getting the 7-day free trial. You're unlocking a full 14-day trial to put to the test. Don't wait. Claim your free trial today by scanning the QR code on screen or clicking that link in the description. BetStamp Pro. It's great. You find some great market edges there. Found a couple on the Seattle game that ended up losing, but they were pretty good. I had Seattle minus 4.5. I think I had it at plus 155, 160, which was a great bet. Great bet.
14 days, man. You get 2 weeks of NFL with that. You could do
stuff.
some damage. I mean, you could even do 3 weeks of NFL if you stagger the weeks as well. You could do some damage with 14 days, and you'll see the power of the tool.
Pretty smart stuff there. I hope the people were, if they do have BetStamp Pro, I hope they were watching the screen when that Washington Commanders news came out, because it seems like James Daniels, even though he might.
If you watch, sorry, go ahead.
We kind of knew he wasn't playing, but
if you watch Forward Progress, the watch along yesterday, you would have known it might have been a good bet to take the Falcons last night.
Oh yeah. Plugs all around. All right, let's get into the show though. Batting leadoff, we have the director of marketing at the Hammer. I have him as Edgerrin Cooper's biggest fan. That's from last week. He's Tua's biggest fan. He thinks Tua is better than Caleb in a one sample game. So we'll bring him up on screen. You can make fun of him in the chat for that take. George, how's it going?
Jason, I'm always happy to be here, even when you're putting words in my mouth. Yeah. Jason, I'm still a little angry about our Survivor pick last week. The only thing I hate more than that is my fucking barber who cut my hair too short. and I didn't notice yesterday because he put some gel in my hair, and this morning I was cursing his name.
Well, I think honestly, George, I think you look great. I think you're giving your barber like a bad. I think you're giving him a bad rap here. I think you look good, George. I didn't notice it yesterday. I thought you looked great yesterday, and you look great today. So I don't see what you're talking about here. You're too critical on yourself. Are you Caleb Williams? Because you're too critical on yourself.
Caleb Williams is Caleb Williams. We'll
leave it at that. All right, let's get into Connor in the chat saying still handsome. Another one of your burner accounts. Hey, where's Drew?
You know what? I think I got a certain fan base in the Hammer that nobody else has. I got all the Connors and the Furstenbergers and the Samsonites.
The cabal of your burner accounts. It's wide and
one of my many cousins boosting my ego.
There you go. All right, let's talk about. I mean, what is there to talk about? Last week you lost. Pick the Falcons. They look terrible.
We got too cute, Jason.
Yeah, we did.
Chiefs was the right pick. Especially
you wanted the Falcons.
Had a great portfolio there with Jags and Cardinals, and then we just threw it all away, all that equity away, because we were like trying to get cute too many weeks in a row.
Yeah, no, that's fair. We were trying to get too cute. That's partially on me. Honestly, it's mostly on me. I was the one who ended up making the final say there. If this segment was recorded on a Wednesday, we would have been able to get the Buffalo Bills in there, which I think we both would have preferred to take. But we don't get to do that. So I don't know.
Okay, we're still going to give them some great analysis.
Yeah,
we've been given. I don't know if people notice this, but we've been given bets also through these games, stuff that I like, and I do have a bet today in a specific game that I want to give out. So
all right,
looking forward to that as well.
Let's talk through the games then. There's a couple of good options here. Just something to be wary of if you're playing in a pool. Always be mindful of if you're playing in a pool that has the Thanksgiving games as a standalone slate and the Christmas games as a standalone slate. Because there's some teams this week that you could potentially take, but you might want to be wary of them if you have those standalone slates there. But for the process of this exercise, for what we're doing, we're not doing that. So we can kind of pick whichever team we want. We don't have to worry about those and think that far ahead for those mini slates. Let's start with the games you have a decent level of comfort with. The three games you've picked, obviously, the New Orleans-Buffalo game, 15.5 point spread, 16.5 at some other spots. You have Cleveland at Detroit. Detroit looks like an absolute powerhouse. I was super wrong about them. Look at me eat crow. And then the Green Bay Packers, -6.5 on the road at Dallas. Let's start with the Buffalo game. Break it down for me.
All right. I think it would be belaboring the point to tell you all the matchup edges that Buffalo has in this, even with a few key injuries like Ed Oliver and Matt Milano and maybe Spencer Brown. Listen, if you take this game, you're going to be confident likely the entire match. The better conversation, rather than is this a tough game to decide on, is do you save them? Because Buffalo has so much future value. Next week, they're at home against New England. Week 6 at Atlanta. Week 8 at Carolina. Week 10 at Miami, week 11 home against Tampa, week 13 at Pittsburgh, week 14 home versus Cincy, week 16 at Cleveland. They're projected at a 23.4% ownership this week. Ultimately, it's just a decision of does somebody want to save them or use them in this spot? But this feels like a layup, and I would bastardize this process if I tried to explain to you all the reasons Buffalo is a good pick.
So do you feel like this is a team that you should save for the future? Listen, we got cute last week, and we kind of paid for it. But is this – I mean, I feel like I'm in agreement with you. There's so many good games for this team coming up very soon. So, yeah, do you think you save Buffalo another week?
I'm not sure. I've already used them in some survivor pools, and some survivor pools I've let them go. The conversation of saving, I'm not thinking that far ahead right now. I'm thinking more in a 4-week window sample size.
Okay, they also have that bye in week 7 as well. So, tough sledding here. If you want to take them, it's going to be a tough decision because they'll probably win, very likely to win. But also something you have to consider is majority of people in the pools will be on them as well. So it kind of makes it a you don't want to always be on the popular pick, right? So, anyways, let's move on to Cleveland at Detroit. Are you any opinions on this game here?
Yeah, this is such an intriguing matchup for me, especially like Detroit's offense against Cleveland's defense. On one hand, Cleveland has like dominated, but this is probably the best offense they face. And I know they've played the Ravens, or at least the best O-line they've faced. Detroit is 7th in rush EPA, 3rd in rush success rate. Cleveland, on the other hand, is 8th in defensive rush EPA and 4th in defensive rush success rate. So it's a good trench battle. The truth is the real edge isn't Detroit's offense. It's their defense against Cleveland's offense. I was very impressed by how they played against Lamar. 7 sacks, 30 pressures on Lamar. And they now face a significantly worse O-line who lost DeJuan Jones for the year. Jack Conklin may play. He is banged up, though. And Detroit has some ball hawks. Like Brian Branch feels like he's always around the ball. DJ Reed has been one of the more underrated corners over the years. I expect a heavy dose of Judkins, but as soon as Detroit breaks open the lead, so this might feel like the Baltimore script where Cleveland hung around. The second it becomes, a 2-score game and Joe Flacco has to drop back and throw, I think that's when Detroit has real blowout potential. Feels like they're a really easy spot for me this week. They have some future value, though. Week 5 at Cincy, which is next week. Week 9 at home against Minnesota. Week 12 at home against the Giants. Week 14 home against Dallas. They're home against Pittsburgh. They're projected at 25.9% ownership, so it's going to be them or Buffalo as the top 2 picks. Same like next week as well. They're going to be 2 of the top picks. Tons of future value in Detroit, but they are definitely one of the 3 main considerations.
Yeah, of course, as 10-point favorites. Of course, they're in contention there. And are you worried at all about this Cleveland team? I know a lot of people just kind of got screwed by this Cleveland team, and I think around maybe Green Bay was like 4th or 5th most picked in majority of pools here. Lost to Cleveland. Are you worried at all with how strong their defensive line has looked, that they might be able to replicate something here against Detroit? Or are you?
No, that was a significant. And if you remember last week, we gave out the Green Bay Cleveland under first half. Their D-line significantly overpowered the Green Bay O-line with all those injuries. That won't be the case against Detroit. So I think a lot of their edge is negated by that. And frankly, Detroit just looked really, really good against Baltimore. And if not for a Green Bay performance that made people come off them, Detroit would still be seen as one of the best teams in football right now.
All right, let's move on and talk about the team that lost last week, the Green Bay Packers, taking on the Dallas Cowboys, which, I mean, it's a pretty stark contrast going from the Cleveland Browns, where you're getting a ton of pressure generated on you. Myles Garrett, one of the best edge rushers in the league. Just a good schemed-up defense from Schwartz there. And then you go to the Dallas Cowboys, who have one of the weakest defenses in the league, maybe the weakest, personnel-wise and pressure-wise. They're just unable to generate anything. You can kind of get whatever you want downfield, over the middle, deep. You can get whatever you want in the passing game. So what's your take on this game here?
Yeah, you can get everything. They're 31st in dropback EPA, 27th in dropback success rate. They're also a bottom 3rd run defensive unit, so in the bottom 10 teams. Green Bay has some concerning issues, though. Zach Tom is out. Aaron Banks hasn't been practicing. Anthony Belton, who technically is the replacement for Zach Tom, also didn't practice yesterday. I likely will see a Jordan Morgan play right tackle, and maybe there's a problem on the interior. The truth is, though, you can attack Dallas in the middle of the field. You can attack them with deep shots. This feels like the Romeo Doubs and Matthew Golden show, if I'm being honest. On the other side of the ball, Green Bay's defense actually might be the best in the league, especially when you see how Detroit's played the last 2 weeks and then remember what Green Bay did to them in week 1. Dallas has big O-line problems as well. Their center is out. Their right guard is out as well now, and they have to deal with an insane D-line. No CeeDee Lamb. What I expect Green Bay to do is shadow coverage towards Pickens. Jake Ferguson, good game last week. Now he's got to play the best linebacker in Edrin Cooper. I'm not sure what the avenue to success is for Dallas's offense. Is it a Jalen Tolbert game? Is it Javonte Williams? I think this game has serious blowout potential. I know Green Bay has tons of future value. Week 6 at home against Cincy, Week 8 at Pittsburgh, Week 9 at home versus Carolina, Week 11 at the Giants, Week 12 at home versus Minnesota, Week 14 home versus Chicago. I think Jason will have some issues with that. Here's what I find interesting, though, Jason. 4.4% ownership this week. I think my people might be a little shell-shocked from last week as well. I know they have a lot of future value, but anytime you're getting on Green Bay, under 5% ownership feels like a good spot.
Okay, so I think you're kind of we haven't talked about this before, maybe tipping your hand on who you like this week and who we might pick this week. So Green Bay -6.5, plus obviously you talked about that Dallas offense, which is going to struggle without CeeDee Lamb. Let's talk about some potential landmine games. Tennessee at Houston. Houston laying 7 points right now. I understand why Houston is laying 7, but I cannot confidently bet on this team, just taking a step back from Survivor. With how poor their offense is and how poor their offenses look, I don't know how you can confidently bet on this team to win by a touchdown. Just is hard for me to look at and click. So yeah, break down this game for me here. I know you're a big fan of Cam Ward too, so I can see why you have this as a potential landmine.
So offensively, I have hated watching this Houston offense. However, It feels like if there ever was a good spot to blow up, it could be against Tennessee. If you don't look good here, then you're not going to look good against anyone. Texans right now have been a bottom 3 offense, 29th in EPA per play, 30th in success rate. They get to play, though, the Titans defense that's 30th in defensive EPA per play and 28th in defensive success rate. On the other side of the ball, Tennessee's O-line is still like banged up. J.C. Latham, double DNP. I don't think he's going to play. Kevin Zeitler is banged up. And they get to play a Houston D-line that's really, really good right now. The injury I'm watching for is Stingley. If Stingley is out, I could see a Calvin Ridley or Ao Manor. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Kamari Lassiter can only cover one of them. Here's the thing. They're at an 11% ownership this week. I've heard many people say, covering margin, the Texans is asking a lot, which means technically the Titans will theoretically be in the game at all times in striking distance. I don't have a great level of comfort, even though I think Houston's going to win this game.
Okay, so you have Houston, but of course, definitely less than a touchdown here. Ao Manor, absolute stud. We were talking about him at the office yesterday. Like Alex and I were talking about this. Which game was it? It was against Colorado, where it was an absolute stud. Moss Travis Hunter multiple times to help lead them. Like I think it was a 3-touchdown comeback. Anyways, let's flip over to the next game. Carolina at New England. We had a consistent strategy that Jacob was pointing out, fading the Carolina Fighting Eagles, and we ate crow. We ate crow on it. Tell me why you think that this New England spot might be a landmine this week against our go-to. I'm doing air quotes for those listening on podcasts. Our go-to strategy.
All right, let's start off with the New England offense. They moved the ball really well against Pittsburgh, had 5 turnovers. I think they'll find some success in this game too, particularly over the middle of the field where Carolina still is very vulnerable. You can attack them, passing to your running backs and to your tight ends. Of course, Carolina's Jatavian Sanders is out, and he's not exactly a good tight end to begin with. Drake May keeps looking better and better. I actually think this will be a Travion Henderson week after 2 fumbles last week from Ramondre. If you were watching the practices, a lot of drills, Travion was going third in previous weeks. He was the first person up, which means I think it's going to be a bigger workload. And the Panthers probably will be without Tershawn Wharton again and DJ Wonnum now. On the other side of the ball, the Pats defense hasn't been very good, but they do get Christian Gonzalez back. The thing that actually concerns me about the Pats defense is right now they have a very good D-line, so they're a very good rush defense, but they do not cover running backs well. Robert Spillane and Christian Ellis can't cover. PFF has graded 64 linebackers in coverage. They are the 60th and 63rd cover linebackers, respectively. They also miss a ton of tackles. Chuba Hubbard has had 2 really good receiving games. Right now, his number is lined between 16 and 18 in receiving yards, depending where you can find it. That's a bet for me. I like Chuba Hubbard receiving yards over. As for the game, the bull case is the Pats are at 2.8% ownership this week, and it makes it somewhat intriguing. The bad case is, we've seen some pushback. The game got out to 6, and then some money came back in on Carolina, and I think Carolina might hang around and keep this close. And a couple bad turnovers by New England, and all of a sudden you're chasing it again. That being said, I think they're going to win.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I listen, haven't been a fan of Drake May recently. He's looked good in some spots, looked bad in some spots, but that offense has been able to push the ball downfield. Plus, Christian Gonzalez back is going to be massive. Chuba Hubbard receiving yards, though, quickly trying to pull it up on my computer, roughly 17.5, 16.5, basically everywhere. But if you're going to bet it on FanDuel because they probably have the best alt prices. Can't quickly shop that, but chances are they do, because they most often do. Last game to talk about the Los Angeles Chargers taking on the New York Giants. Chargers laying 6.5. Of course, Jackson Dart, new quarterback in the fold, in the mix. George, you have some history with fading quarterbacks coming in and playing their first game. How do you feel about this one? Is this why it's a landmine for you?
Yeah, traditionally this has been the spot that has killed me, like fading guys I've never seen play at QB. The volatility of the game is off the charts in both directions, but there's actually some other reasons too why I don't like the Chargers. Let's start with the Chargers offense. Right now, the O-line is banged up. Mekhi Becton likely not going to play with a concussion. Bradley Bozeman's been banged up, but is expected to go. The Chargers O-line didn't look great against Denver. last week, and the Giants, that's the strength of their defense, is their D-line. And if Herbert has less time to throw, maybe they go back to a run game. And I know the Giants struggle with the run defense, but again, Omarion Hampton isn't exactly lighting up the world. So if Herbert is off his game and cannot throw, I could see an adjustment to a run game. It makes me also think that the game will trend lower depending on like volatility of turnovers. On the other side of the ball, the Chargers defense has looked really good, but it was against a Mahomes Chiefs offense that lost Worthy mid-game, which is always a tough adjustment. A Raiders offense with a banged up Bowers that now in hindsight doesn't look good, and a Broncos offense where Bo Nix has looked bad. Maybe their defense is a tad overrated right now. Andrew Thomas is back for the Giants. Malik Neighbors and Wan'Dale Robinson have looked good. Scatterbo is pinballing off guys. The truth is Jackson Dart is the big unknown. And here's the thing that kills me, because I think there's future value with the Chargers at Tennessee, home to Pittsburgh, home versus Las Vegas off a bye, probably the most ideal spot in week 13. They're projected at a 15.5% ownership this week. I'm not going to have Chargers in any of my pools, and I think their high ownership is a huge misstep. There's a lot of assumptions here about two things. Jackson Dart and Chargers feel a touch overrated right now.
Wow.
Yes, I think their defense could be overrated, and I want to see in this game if I'm right about that.
I like that you're doing that like mid Ryder Cup, so you know that Jeff will not be on his phone scrolling Twitter or seeing any of this at all. He's going to avoid all this, so you're playing it safe right now.
I safely covered all the bases. I said Herbert MVP, and now I said the Chargers are overrated. I'm going 1-1 on this opinion.
There you go. Also with Jackson Dart as well, the scariest thing about him coming in as a quarterback is these quarterbacks who have the ability to run, which he's shown great creativity in college and ability to run, is they can maintain drives, right? Like that's like they can keep up a drive and not put themselves in some terrible positions, maybe take some bad sacks, but like being able to run the football and like shorten the downs a little bit might contribute to them maybe upsetting the Chargers.
If the Chargers win, if the Chargers lose, here's why it happened. Giants D-line put Herbert in hell against an O-line that is banged up, and Jackson Dart doesn't make the bad turnover.
Yeah.
If those two things, if they win, it's going to be because of those reasons on Monday.
All right. Sounds good. All right. We have like very little time here, George. So I'm going to let you pick two teams.
Choice.
Go.
Dealer's choice. We have Detroit. We have Buffalo. We have Green Bay. We could do a Detroit Buffalo combo this week, next week. I leave it to the dealer's choice. It is the Hammer Daily with Jason Cooper.
Okay, so we get one.
No, that's crazy, George. You can't put it on 2 weeks in a row and then give him shit if it loses.
No, I didn't give him shit. I tell you, my preferred zone here is I'd rather take a nice, free, easy game with like a Detroit.
Okay.
I like the Green Bay's low ownership. I don't think we'd lose any of the three, so I'm very confident.
All right, let's take Detroit then. Let's lock in Detroit. That minus 10 spread at Cleveland got me feeling comfortable. They look really good. Yeah, let's go with Detroit. Love it.
I love it too.
George, I appreciate you coming on. Any last words for the audience here, for your lovely fans?
Yeah, good luck in your survivors. If you take the Chargers or the Patriots or the Texans, Godspeed. I think there's going to be some bumpy rides.
Yeah, we almost got a lot of blood last week. Hopefully we can get some blood this week. And hopefully it's not us this week. George, appreciate you joining us. We'll talk soon.
Absolutely. Take care, my friend.
All right. See you, George. See ya. One's in the chat for George. Also, frequent chat member as well. He's going to probably jump in the chat right after this. Great stuff here. We got Austin Mock coming up next. But before we bring up Austin, got to quickly give a shout out to our wonderful sponsors over at FanDuel, introducing FanDuel's Boost Fest, where every day from September 25th to the 28th brings you a 50% profit boost on the biggest matchups in football, baseball, golf, and more. That's right. No matter what you're watching, there's a new reason to open the FanDuel app, and a fresh boost will be waiting for you when you do. Build a bet, stack your legs, or go bold on a single pick. However you play, that profit boost is ready to go every single day during Boost Fest. For Friday, we got a 50% profit boost token on the Ryder Cup, which we will talk about a little bit later with Iain MacMillan. There's some Friday night profit boost token as well for some college football, 30% profit boost, and then MLB 30% profit boost token. Maybe we can use that Friday night sprinkle profit boost token when we talk about some college football with Austin because there's some good games Friday. There's 2 good games tonight. Let's bring him up, though. He's a staff writer over at The Athletic. You've seen him on the Forward Progress Bets Best show, both Tuesday and Thursday. He's been absolutely killing it on that show. Austin, how's it going this week?
It's going good. Yeah, the Tuesday, I got flexibility. But like I said, if my Tuesday picks lose, that goes on Judah's record.
Perfect.
Just want to make that known.
All right, sounds good. I'll make that known. It's officially on the record that if they lose, it goes to Judah. But if they win, those are yours. I'm not letting him claim that. It's not fair. All right, you always got a free roll yourself. Love the plant, by the way. I feel like you had it a couple weeks ago, but I never pointed it out. It's a good addition.
Appreciate it.
Right.
I don't have enough background. I gotta work on that. So
all right. We'll work on it together. Maybe I'll send you a Blue Jays hat, Leafs jersey, something along those lines. Anyways,
no thanks. I don't want that bad juju.
What the heck? All right. Well, now you got me ticked off to start this segment, but it's all good. Let's talk about this Arizona State TCU game. Arizona State at home, laying 2.5 points. Juice 2.5 minus 124 towards Arizona State on FanDuel right now. 54.5 total. You like TCU in this game. Tell me a little bit about it here for this fun Friday night football game.
Yeah, so coming into the year, I was pretty high on TCU, and then they destroyed North Carolina in that opening week, and I don't know if the market kind of went with them and thought they were a pretty good squad, but I also have been low on Arizona State. So them getting +3 here, I can't. I make this closer to a pick'em. Arizona State has been net success rate. They've been at a -1 in all of their opponents against FBS. So I think they're a little bit overrated this year. We were talking to George about Cam Scatabo being pretty good. I think he's been a pretty big loss for the for Arizona State there. So Hoover, TCU's quarterback, is great. He's one of if you're not a sicko college football fan, he's really fun to watch in this offense. So I am backing the Horned Frogs here at +3. I don't think they should be getting a field goal here against Arizona State.
All right, I love it. Horned Dogs +3. I bet Arizona State an alt spread of the -4.5. So I feel like this is gonna go great. I know I already used my profit boost token on that, and you can as well over on FanDuel. Let's flip over and talk about this Iowa game. Iowa's laying 7.5 point dogs at home to the Hoosiers. The Hoosiers just beat the wheels off of Illinois. Is this kind of like a fade on Indiana and their game last week? Are you looking to fade the current Heisman favorite Fernando Mendoza, who's like +850? Not really a Heisman favorite, but it's fun to say. But yeah, is this kind of part of the handicap here of why you like Iowa 7.5 point dogs? You feel like it's just moved out too much after almost like a beatdown from Indiana?
Yeah, exactly. That was I was not high on Illinois. I tweeted at the beginning of that game that I had them outside right at like 30th, 29th or 31st in my model overall, and they were ranked 9th. And this team was not very good. So obviously very impressive performance when you blow out any team like that who's a top 30 program. That's going to boost your power rating in my model, and it did. Indiana's seen as like a top 15-ish team, but we've gone way too far, I think, in this number. Like, this should not be I don't think, like, if this is like a normal 35 17 win last week or something like that, this is not over a touchdown. Indiana really just laid it on. I think this is a gross overreaction. Iowa's defense is not what it's been. They're actually I kind of have more faith in their offense, which is weird to say based on the last decade of Iowa football. But yeah, still they're at home. It's a tough place to play. Indiana, I'm not buying the Mendoza Heisman favorite. I think he's good. Yeah. And I love Kurt Cignetti as a coach, but I just think laying 7.5 and some spots have better price than that, I think is a gross overreaction to a blowout last week for an overrated Illinois team. So give me Iowa +7.5. Hopefully we get some good special teams play, and hopefully the defense wakes up.
All right, Iowa +7.5, and it seems like you mentioned, it's a almost full fade on the current ranking of Illinois. So if this is a full fade of Illinois, so I got to ask you about my Trojans laying 6.5 points. Day game, which is very tough. Noon game. They just played the latest slate last week. Now they're playing a noon game this week. schedule makers throwing us in a little bit of a spin cycle here. So do you feel like the number's gone too far out on this Trojans game where they're out to -6.5? Because I talked about this on Monday on Hit the Books with those guys. We were just talking about how there's kind of two paths here. It's like a tight game, right? And Illinois ends up covering. Or the other path is that the Trojans, like the Hoosiers, just absolutely beat the wheels. The Trojans beat the wheels off the Fighting Illinois. So I'm going to try and tell you on some like USC alts here, like 2 touchdowns, maybe 3 touchdowns. Are you buying that from me or not really?
I still lean Illinois at the current prices, so I don't know. But I do think it's a game with like where the alts are probably more valuable than others. I think there's a wide range of outcomes there. Like USC still might be a little underrated based on, where they were last year. Again, that we've talked about before, they led in every fourth quarter, everyone but one last year, and only won 7 games. So I do agree that like would go both ways. And then you talk about the tough start, the early start time for USC in terms of their clock, and they have to travel across the country. I do think like kind of on both ends. I think the alts kind of, if you don't want to get a 6.5, maybe maybe sprinkle some money line in Illinois. But yeah, I can't say I'm backing the USC alts, but I could see this being both sides where we kind of have some wide range of outcomes in this game.
All right, so you're backing at 23 USC -23.5 plus 460 over on FanDuel. You heard it from Austin. He's just said it right there. He's backing it. I'm gonna scrub this clip with AI and change it around for social media. Anyways, let's go we were talking Iowa before. Let's go over to Iowa State. Just under a touchdown here. Total is at 48.5. Honestly, flying blind in this game. Not really sure what to make of it here. So break down what you like and why.
Yeah, I like Iowa State here. This number's kind of bounced around 6.5, 6. I think we even saw some like juiced 5.5s, but this kind of seems where we're going to land here before we kick off tomorrow. I think Iowa State is, I don't want to say like underrated, but they're the team that, again, no one talks about in the Big 12, and they just continue to win football games when they're not. I feel like when actually the time to fade Iowa State and Matt Campbell is when they're being talked about. Like they tend to disappoint when the hype gets going here. So they're kind of flying under the radar, Texas Tech getting a lot of love in the Big 12 and everything. So I think there's much superior team here. They're at home. They have a strong home field advantage. So I am backing them at -6. That is widely available. I think they're the much better team. Arizona, I don't think they're in the same tier. I do think Iowa State is a notch, a good bit above them in the tier of the Big 12. So I am buying. I guess I live in Iowa this week, buying both Iowa and Iowa State. So go. I don't know how you feel about that, but as an Iowa resident, but yeah, back in Iowa State here.
All right. I have a quick question for you because we talked about the TCU Arizona State game before. We're talking Iowa State here. You like TCU. You like Iowa State. TCU's price +650 to win the Big 12. Iowa State +900 to win the Big 12. Do you like either of these looks coming into this week when you kind of like both of those teams to cover? And I mean, TCU obviously to cover, but Iowa to win their game. Do you think it's going to affect those odds at all, or you kind of wait and not play these right now?
Yeah, I have a smaller, tiny edge on TCU at that current price.
Okay.
I do have an edge on Iowa State though. I think they are underrated to not only win the conference, but also I would say like make the playoff, obviously, because if you win the conference, you're getting that automatic bid. So yeah, I think if I had to pick one, Iowa State's the better one there.
Okay, I'm gonna try and pull up the to make. Oh wow, Iowa State +730 to make the college football playoffs as well. So some big numbers there. If you like Iowa State, if you think they're underrated, like Austin does, go over to FanDuel. You can bet it. Let's close out this with the Alabama, Georgia game. One of the best games of this slate. 2 fun offenses to watch. 2 of the best teams in the country. Break this down for the people at home.
Yeah, so this has started to tick up. I think actually right before I hopped on, there's been some over money. I do like the over in this game. A little bit less now with the slight this getting bet before I came on. But Georgia is not the Georgia of what we've been used to. The Kirby Smart, they rely on the defense. The defense was, when they won their national titles, the defense were, the best in the country. And some were talking about, all-time defenses in the sport. So They got lit up by Tennessee. They should not have won that game. They were lucky to win that. Tennessee moved the ball at will. I think Alabama's a little bit underrated, their offense, because of their performance against Florida State back in week 1. I think they'll be able to move it on Georgia. And I'm not like a huge believer in Alabama's defense at the current as we stand today. So I think both of these teams are more, it's kind of weird to say that from the, Saban and Smart, what we've seen from the last decade of these teams. But I think they're more offensive teams, stronger on the offensive side of the ball than the defensive side of the ball. So, low 50s. I think you can definitely see. I think you could see this get into the 60s with some fireworks here, as both defenses I think are a little overrated in the market right now.
Mm-hmm. Seems to be getting respect from the priors or the previous years and just the identity of these football clubs. 53.5 right now, minus 115. Over at FanDuel. Is this going to be one of your main screen games for the 7 o'clock, 7:30 slate? This is going to be on your main screen, sound on, or is there another game that might trump it?
Oh, man. It's going to be like a back and forth between Oregon and Penn State. Like, I feel like they're so. If Alabama didn't have a loss, it might like go down a little bit because like because the SEC is so strong, they might have like a little bit of like future, they can lose a game type, if that makes sense what I'm trying to say there. Whereas Oregon, Penn State, like the schedules aren't as strong, so like the loser is kind of like, I don't want to say back against the wall, because 10-2 you're still probably looking pretty good, but like the winner of the Oregon Penn State game is like for sure into the playoff. Not for sure, pretty good chance they're into the playoff. But yeah, I'll be flipping back and forth between those two. It does not get better than this weekend in college football. This weekend's gonna be nuts.
One of the best weekends of the year, one of the best slates of the year. And I'm getting some word in the chat that you are a Penn State guy. I did not know that.
I live in State College,
okay.
So they are naturally 5 minutes. I'm 5 minutes from Beaver Stadium. Okay. I might even be over at the game for a little bit to start off the whiteout, because it's the first one with a big opponent in the first couple of years, so that should be fun to watch.
Yeah, it'll be a fun time. If you go, you got to get us some boots on the ground live videos there on Twitter. It'd be solid to see. One last question before you head out here. Give me we just mentioned it, one of the most loaded slates of the season. Some great ranked matchups here. Give me your favorite non-ranked game. Two teams that aren't ranked, maybe two teams that are flying under the radar a little bit, that you think will just be the most entertaining. Whether it just be like a gross game where we see a lot of like just ugliness, or a game where we see a lot of offense because the defense is bad, or just something that you're most interested or entertained with. Give it to me here. Unranked game do you think will be the most fun this weekend to watch?
Oh man, you're putting me on the spot.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go I'll go way off the board here.
Love it.
UConn and Buffalo. I think they're both solid teams that are like, I know it's like we're talking about like bottom of the barrel here, but I think they're much better than what we've kind of, the MAC never gets any respect, and UConn was one of the worst teams of college football for like a decade. I think both those teams are improved. UConn like had Syracuse on the ropes, should have beat them. They blew that game in the final minutes, lost in overtime. And they also lost to Delaware in overtime. So I think they're a little bit better. I think that's a sneaky fun game if you're like a college football diehard.
Okay, I love it. Appreciate that. Great answer. That game is at, what time is that? At the 3:30 game. All right, one of those middling slates. Still a little bit of a lighter 3:30 slate where you have a couple options there. But yeah, maybe you'll throw it on your third TV or fourth TV, depending on how many TVs you have. Austin, appreciate you joining the show. We'll see you back here next week.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Jason. Have a good one.
All right, see you, Austin. Enjoy the Penn State game.
Yeah, will do.
All right, see you, Austin. That was good stuff here. One's in the chat for Austin. Love that stuff. Quickly, we got Iain coming on. We talked a little bit about that profit boost token for Friday night. You better be using it. If you're not using it on the Friday night football game, if you don't agree with the TCU bet, you don't agree with my bet on Arizona State, you can still use the Ryder Cup one. It's FanDuel's way of saying enjoy the chaos, embrace the slate, and let's make this week even more fun. To follow us down the FanDuel app or head to FanDuel.com /the hammer to jump into a Boost Fest where the games are big and the boosts are even bigger. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas and affiliations, Kansas Star Casino 18 plus and present in DC, 19 plus and physically located in Ontario, or 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost token. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit rghelp.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/Chan, Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelpline.ma.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Call Connex Ontario at 1-866-531-2600 or visit connexontario.ca. All right. Fun stuff here. We got Iain MacMillan coming on, joining the show. He's a senior editor of Sports Illustrated and SI Betting as well. And he's a devout believer in Gamblor. For those who don't know what Gamblor is, he's one of the gambling gods. Iain, how's it going?
There is but one God, and their name is Gamblor.
Okay,
friend.
only one. I wasn't sure if there were multiple, and I just didn't know about them, but just had to double check with you.
What's going on? What's up?
I'm excited. I got a lot to talk about with you here today. I know you wanted to talk.
Sure.
I know you want to talk Ryder Cup. I know you want to talk some NFL stuff, but I saw you do like a little push up in your chair, and I see you're wearing a Blue Jays jersey. For those who don't know,
of course.
Iain and I met in person at a Blue Jays game a couple months ago. It was the first time we ever met in person. So I have to ask you, this Blue Jays team, 3 games less than the season. A magic number is 3. What are your thoughts on this Blue Jays team and the sweat that we've had against the New York Yankees here to try and win this division?
Yeah, it's not good. I mean, last night was obviously a big win, but would I say I'm confident? No, not at all. I don't think there's any chance we sweep the Rays. I think we can go 2-1, so we're going to need Baltimore to win one of these 3 games against the Yankees. But I mean, and every team I cheer for, I'm a Blue Jays, Maple Leafs, and Falcons fan. Every team I cheer for just does nothing but break my heart. So I fully do expect the Blue Jays to choke this league. I bet Yankees to win the division a couple days ago, like plus 245 or something.
I did the exact
little
same
emo
thing.
hedge for the boys.
I did the exact same.
Yeah, of course.
It's
It's gonna happen. This happens. Every team I cheer for, it happens.
Emotional hedge for sure.
Correct.
oh, pain.
And then we'll get swept in the wild card round, and that'll be just a full season of like a great season for nothing.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you next though, like what's our outlook if we end up missing the division here? But I think I'm in agreement. We're gonna get swept.
Red Sox will sweep us in the wild card round. Won't even be close.
All right.
We'll probably have one game where we blow a late lead. Like Hoffman will come in. Have a 3-run lead in the 9th. Hoffman will come in and blow it, and then the other 2 games will lose by 15 runs.
Oh man, this is tough. I don't want to. I have some Falcons.
I guess it's wild cards. So it'll only be 2 games, but yeah. So we'll blow 1 lead, and then we'll get up in game 1 against the Red Sox. Blow it with Hoffman. Game 2, we'll lose by 10 runs.
All right. Hopefully they make the wild card so we can clip that and have you predict it and we can go viral a little bit on it. I was going to ask you some Atlanta questions, but I might have to put that in the bag. I don't want to make you super depressed. Like, is there anything I can do to like lift up your mood? Well, hey, like the Leafs.
This is the life I live. I've unfortunately listen. I'm blessed in a lot of areas of my life. Yeah. The teams I cheer for is one. It's got to balance out somewhere, and it balances out in the teams that I cheer for. So I can talk Atlanta. I can talk whatever direction I want to go in. I'm good.
All right, sounds good. Maybe give you a little bit of hope here. The Leafs signed James Reimer to a PTO, so maybe like a little bit of nostalgia for you there. Plus, Alexander Barkov might miss the season, so things might be looking up for this Leafs team.
Yeah, we'll have a great regular season, then losing the. Now we've advanced past losing in the first round all the time. We'll lose in the second round this year. So
that's progress, right? That's progress.
It's gonna be a great regular season though. So I'm excited for that.
All right,
it'll be fun.
Listen, FanDuel has been great to us here. They've given us a 30% profit boost or 50% profit boost token on the Ryder Cup. So let's talk a little bit of Ryder Cup stuff right now. I know the foursomes are live. Four ball, excuse me. The 4 ball is live right now. The foursomes match. We're in the morning. Before we get into like the actual breakdown of the Ryder Cup here, I know it's live, but the next 2 days, do you feel like sort of an allegiance to cheer for the U.S.? Because I know you spent a lot of time in the U.S. over the past couple of years. Or are you like any obligation to cheer for the U.S. here? Are you Team Europe? What did you have pre-flop to win the tournament?
By the way, your guys' set there looks fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, it looks great there.
Thank you.
Yeah, you have even an empty chair. I'm nearby. You could have invited me. I could have just walked over. I'd be sitting across from you right now.
Blame Moretto. Blame Moretto.
No, I'm definitely not cheering for the Americans. Are you kidding me? Okay. No, absolutely not. I don't care that I lived there for a few years. I didn't cheer for them when I did live there, and I don't live there anymore. No. I feel like Canada's more Europe than the U.S. to be completely honest.
I think
is that weird?
No. I think I agree with you in that test.
Are us Canadians supposed to be cheering for the Americans? I feel like we're more European.
I think so as well. It depends where you live, but I feel like us in Toronto and maybe the Montreal people in Montreal feel like a little bit more of a connection with Europe and the United States. I don't know. Maybe we're alienating our majority American audience by saying that. Apologies. Maybe you can root against us as well.
I mean, there's a Scot on the team. My heritage is Scottish, so
there you go.
I don't have any American in my blood.
That's the connection. Did you have anything pre-flop like on
Europe? Yeah, I took Europe. I took them a little bit earlier than I should have. I took them plus 140, and then they closed like plus 160, plus 170, depending on where you look. So I didn't wait longer. I thought the odds were going to get closer, but they kind of went the opposite direction. So I placed a lot of bets. If you're just talking just overall winner, I took Europe. I mean, I think the roster is deeper than it's ever been, and I think that was showcased in this morning's session. And I don't think the length off the tee that the Americans have historically had when they've played at American courses, I don't think that that's relevant this year, because like 4 of the top 7 longest drivers this year are on Team Europe. Like Ludwig, obviously, he's long off the tee. John Rahm, Rory McIlroy, Rasmus Højgaard's pretty long off the tee. So that advantage, which was a significant one whenever the Americans could choose the courses when it was in America, that advantage is not really there this year either. So I took Europe, so it's looking pretty good. I've thought about hedging and going USA now that they're like plus 130 and just take a profit and run away. But scared money don't make money. All
right, I love it. It's a good prerogative to have. Things are looking great for you. Like you mentioned, Europe absolutely waxed the U.S. This morning in the first matches. Anything you like? I know we can't really hit anything live right now because the second event just started, the Better Ball event. But anything you like for day 2, you have to share with the audience, or just kind of.
I got a pick for all the
fire away. I love it.
Which are available at FanDuel. Okay. It's a FanDuel show, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Have they actually has the first session teed off, or have no? It says 12:25 is supposed to tee off, but nothing has happened. They have.
Yeah,
okay, sorry, my thing is behind.
I think so Scheffler and Spawn are 1 up through 1.
Spawn are 1 up. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So I bet Scheffler, Rahm. I took the Americans in the first 2 pairings. So that was Scheffler, Spawn, and then Griffin DeChambeau. I think Ben Griffin might be the most underrated golfer at this entire event. I think Keegan Bradley screwed up not pairing him with DeChambeau this morning. So I like Griffin DeChambeau. I don't know. Has that one started? Must have. That one has.
I don't.
Yeah, it's first hole.
Okay. Just
so that one just started. So I like Griffin DeChambeau. It's minus 125 at FanDuel right now on the 3-way. And then I'm going Team Europe for the other 2 matches. So I like Oberg Højgaard against JT. I think sending JT out there is crazy. JT had the yips this morning, couldn't hit the putt, and JT's not a guy that like can recover from that. If he starts bad, he kind of ends bad. So like I think putting him out there for a second straight match is crazy. Also, I don't think he's one of the best Americans, so it's weird to use in both sessions. So I like Oberg Højgaard plus 125 on the 3-way. And then I like McIlroy, Lowry plus 105 on the 3-way against Burns and Cantley. I'm not a Burns guy, not a Sam Burns guy. I think he might be the weakest guy at this entire event.
All right, so a couple great bets there for us. If you're looking for this, head over to the Ryder Cup on FanDuel and just hit schedule. It's not under futures, it's under schedule, and you'll be able to see all these games or all these matches, laid out for you there. Anything with regards to day 2 or 3, or you just want to hit these match winners? You can't really do much until you know like the matchups, right? So.
No, yeah, you can't. Yeah, the matchups aren't out for tomorrow yet. So, no, I considered betting it before the matches got announced for today. I considered betting on being on tied at the end of the day, because I do think the Americans generally have a bit of an advantage when it comes to 4-ball, best ball format. But then I didn't like the teams that Keegan put out, so I think it goes 2-2, which would maintain the Europe lead tonight. So nothing for day 2 or day 3 because we got to wait for the matchups. So all right, I'll put something out tonight for that.
Sounds good. Great analysis here. Let's move forward and talk some NFL stuff, because I know you love the NFL. You're the host of the Bacon Bets podcast, which for people who don't know, you pick one bet in every single game from either side, total, or spread. Very tough challenge for you to do, but you do it every year, and it's a lot of fun to listen to. My question for you, just to start things off, I'm going to say outside of the Colts, because the Colts are the most obvious answer for this question. Outside of the Colts, who has been the most shocking team, whether good or bad, in the NFL this year that has kind of made you reconsider your off-season priors? Obviously, it's the Colts, but like I don't want to give you easy answers here. So you gotta.
No, you're right, because Colts is the obvious choice. So which one would I find more surprising? Probably the Chargers, for the good reason. I think that I wasn't low on the Chargers heading into the season. I actually have another answer too. I wasn't super low on the Chargers heading into the season, but I think they have played even better than I kind of expected. I mean, 3-0 against 3 divisional opponents, 2 of them playoff teams from last year. Justin Herbert is like a legitimate MVP candidate. Shout out Jeff Feinberg. Great for him. Got to be a great time to be a Chargers fan. The other LA team too, though. I was very low on the Rams heading into the season. I think I called them the most fraudulent team heading into this year. I unfortunately am almost right. If they beat the Colts, I have to retract that statement. Matt Stafford. What happened to Matt Stafford's back injury? He was had a big back injury in the offseason and the preseason. He was laying on some like holistic healing table that like heals his chakras, and we were all like, "This is stupid. What's going on?" Matt Stafford's going to suck this year, and then he's looked fine. That was all. That was a fugazi. So the Rams have looked way better than I expected. Their defense has been better than I expected too. So. The Rams have surprised me, unfortunately. I'm not apologizing for my take yet. If they beat the Colts this week, I'll apologize for my preseason Rams take.
Okay, that's fair. Deservingly should be 3-0 right now, this Rams team, after like maybe one of the worst beats of all time against the Eagles, but it is what it is. Let's move on and talk about your Falcons, because big news, Jane Daniels, not official news yet, but Jane Daniels seems like he will be ruled out, and it seems like the betting markets agree with that as well. We saw the spread in this game.
The Falcons are favored now.
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it literally just as we went on air, Washington was -1.5, moved out to Atlanta -1.5. You're a Falcons fan. Talk me through this. Are you worried at all? About this Marcus Mariota revenge game?
I'm worried in the sense that if we lose, season's over. I would like to announce that now. If the Falcons lose to Marcus Mariota and Dan Quinn, two former Falcons, I will officially eliminate the Atlanta Falcons from the 2025 playoff contention. They will be eliminated. So that's official.
Okay.
So yes. Am I worried? Do I think like he's actually going to beat us? No. But I'm worried that he could end their season if he does. I got the Falcons at +130, so I'm laughing right now.
It's a great price you have there.
So that means they'll lose by 10.
It's been a tough year for those getting CLV.
I've had a great CLV season. It's translated to nothing. I have a losing record, a bad record.
Well, hopefully you can get a win on this Falcons team here. What are your thoughts on Michael Penix so far this year? It seems like hopes were high for him. We had some like weird comments from Raheem Morris with regards to like him and Kirk Cousins and sort of, I don't know if you saw those. I get it. You're backing Michael Penix. You want to back the young quarterback, but like still very weird. Also weird for the reporter to ask those kinds of questions as well. But yeah, like what have you made of Michael Penix so far this year? Are you happy with his performance?
I like where we're at. Okay. Falcons fans, and obviously I follow a lot of them on Twitter. Like they're acting like the sky's falling. Like they were like hyping the sky up like he's our franchise quarterback. He has one bad start in his sixth NFL start of his career. And now all of a sudden, like we're calling him like a bum and like we're cooked. It's like, guys, this is his sixth NFL start. Like he's gonna have bad starts. I don't want to make the comparison to NFL greats, but we can all name NFL greats who had a bad first year and maybe threw a ton of interceptions and maybe played for the Colts and won a Super Bowl with the Colts and then later on won a Super Bowl with the Broncos. I'm not making that comparison. I'm just saying it's crazy to like be out on a guy after one bad start and his sixth start as a professional quarterback. It's crazy. I think he looks very poised in the pocket. He has accuracy issues, which I think can be fixed. I would much rather have a quarterback that shows poise in the pocket and able to buy time with his legs a little bit and not be accurate than the other way around. I think like the most unteachable thing for a quarterback in the NFL is that pocket presence, and I think he has that. And he's shown enough. He's had, very good starts. Last year at the end of the season, he took the Commanders team to overtime with a couple of clutch throws late in the game. So was last week disgusting? Yeah, but it's a young quarterback. And that won't be his last bad game either. I'll tell you that. So I got worries about coaches. Zach Robinson is married to the pistol for some reason. I don't understand that. He said in his press conference this week that he needs to make the offense simpler, which is the opposite of what he has to do. His offense is already too simple and predictable, and now he's going to make it more simple and predictable. That doesn't seem like that's a good strategy. Raheem Morris, I think I might officially be out on Raheem Morris. I think we've seen he's just not a good NFL head coach. So, yes, I'm starting to blame the coaches, but now I'm a little afraid that I'm falling into the cycle that other teams fall into, like the Bears. So it's like one season, like your team sucks, you get a quarterback, he sucks, you blame the coach, you fire the coach, you bring in the new coach, quarterback still sucks, you blame the quarterback, you get rid of the quarterback, you bring in a new one, he sucks, you blame the coach, you fire the coach. Like it's a cycle of blaming either the quarterback or the coach. I'm aware that us Falcons fans could be falling into that trap. But I think it's fair to say Raheem Morris, he's been around the NFL enough. He's probably not a head coach, and Zach Robinson is not a good offensive coordinator. So that's where I'm at with the Falcons.
Yeah, it's the worst kind of cycle you can be in. But I think I'm in agreement with you here. Never really high on Raheem Morris coming in when he came in as a head coach. Zach Robinson, obviously the tree that he's from, you're high on him. But he hasn't shown anything right now for this Falcons team. Hasn't really been.
Yeah, Zach Robinson's part of the Sean McVay tree. So like you think he's going to be good, but let's not forget the greatest NFL coach of all time, Bill Belichick. None of the guys from his tree went on to be good coaches anywhere else. So just because he comes from a good head coaching tree doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be a good offensive coordinator. So.
I agree. Well, speaking of tree, we had a little mini debate on watch alongs. Is it like when you're talking about a route tree for a wide receiver? Is it route or route? George and I had a little bit of debate here. I have to ask you.
So funny you asked that. So I was at the Super Bowl this year. I was on Media Row, and I actually asked something related to what I call the route tree to who was it? I asked. It's 2 receivers who play for the same team, and I asked them that question, and they didn't know what I was talking about because I said route.
Is there a clip of that?
There is somewhere. On YouTube. Yeah.
Oh, I got it.
And everyone in the comments is calling me out too, calling me an idiot and saying I don't know ball because I pronounce it root.
You don't know anything about this game that we play,
right? Exactly. I guess growing up, I played football. We called it a root tree.
All right, fair enough. Quickly before I head you out here, give me the game you're most interested in this NFL slate for this week.
From a betting standpoint, or just from a football standpoint?
Football, anything, really anything. This is you can make this question whatever you want it to be. It could be betting, could be entertainment, could be something you want to see more out of a team. What do you got here?
I am interested to watch. I'll combine the two. I'll say from a football perspective and from a betting perspective, I will say Sunday Night Football, Packers, Cowboys. Because this Cowboys defense gave up 450 yards to Russell Wilson, 298 passing yards to Caleb Williams. I'm pretty sure I could go find 10 guys on the street of Toronto, and we could put to work like an offense that could put up 250 yards against this Cowboys defense. So I'm excited. I think Jordan Love is going to eat them alive. By far the best throwing quarterback that they've faced so far this season. I think it's going to be a rough one. So I'm on the Packers to cover. I got them at 6.5. Mm-hmm. I like Jordan Love over his passing yards total, and I just love watching a quarterback torch a bad defense. So I think Sunday Night Football is going to be a fun one. I think it's going to be a blowout, but it's going to be a fun blowout.
Yeah,
I hate the Cowboys.
I hate the Cowboys too. I feel like they're getting like comeuppance with this whole Micah Parsons situation moving on from. I know their secondary and their linebacking core would still be terrible regardless of if they sign Parsons or not. But it's just like you deserve to have a bad defense after making that trade. So,
although I don't want to trash the Cowboys too much because they are just kind of like the Leafs of the NFL.
Right, that makes me sad.
Like I can't hate the Cowboys if I'm also a Leafs fan.
This is like my 2 more weeks of like peace and prosperity before I have to start watching the Leafs again, where it's just like preseason's coming on. It's going to be a tough road. Anyways, Ian, I appreciate you joining the show here. I believe I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but Moretto revealed it last on our watch along. You're going to be joining us for a watch along soon?
I believe so. Yeah. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Can we reveal any more details or no?
I was going to say something else, but no, I won't reveal it. I'll wait till I'm on. But there is a Falcons-Buccaneers Thursday night football game at some point this season, and I would definitely like to be on for that one.
Okay, perfect. I will make sure that happens with Alex. He hasn't told us anything yet with regards to it, so I wanted to see if I can get like a little bit out of you there, but it's all good.
I think a Falcons game would make sense, so I think it's a little bit later on the season, so maybe I'll come on for one earlier, but pencil me in for Falcons-Buccaneers. It's week 11, 12?
December 11th, so maybe week 14, I think.
Ooh, December 11th, yeah, that's late. So maybe I'll come on one before that, but yes. You guys are close by, so I can just walk over, I think.
All right, sounds good. Should be fun. Ian, appreciate you joining the show. We'll talk soon.
Take care, buddy. Go Europe.
All right, go Europe. See you, man. All right, great show for us here today. Appreciate you guys in the chat as well. See you guys spamming those comments. Insight, Packers, alt 20. Oh, was that alt minus 24 plus 700? Jesus Christ. I don't hate that though. Like it's going to be a beatdown, especially without, like we talked about with George, no CeeDee Lamb. How's this offense going to move the ball? I get they have George Pickens. I get they have Javonte Williams, but you know what? Micah Parsons is going to be like not the revenge game angle. Obviously, Micah Parsons is going to want to win, but this feels like a statement game for this Green Bay Packers defense to say like, hey, you guys made
bounce back game too. I mean, all the narratives in
there.
Green Bay's
all
ballpark.
The narratives there. Yeah, they're not even putting up a video for Micah Parsons, which is so disrespectful.
Oh, that's insane.
Not
are they
not?
not?
Line.
Are they actually?
They're actually not. No, like Jerry Jones. I think something like not that he doesn't deserve it, but
wow,
yeah.
Jerry's world, baby.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyways, you guys know the drill. Smash the like button. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button as well. And if you made it this far, and you're new to the channel, why aren't you hitting the subscribe button? Do we not earn it? Like tell us why in the comment section down below if you're new to the channel why we didn't earn your subscribe here. Coming up on the Hammer Betting Network. At what time is it? It's 5 p.m. Hit the books live. 5 p.m. Eastern today. Tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. Make sure you mark that in your calendar on the Forward Progress HQ YouTube channel. We're giving out prop bets. It says it's with me. It's also with Hitman. I feel like that's maybe we got to.
I think
we got to change that because I think Hitman's the selling point there,
I think
not
that's
me.
the draw. I think Hitman Jason will also be on it, but it is the Hitman prop show.
Yeah. So don't worry, Hitman will be there. And then we have the Hit the Books halftime show at, I believe, around 1:30ish. Ring that notification bell on the Hit the Books HQ YouTube channel. Then finally, Pizza Buffet, 11 a.m. Eastern time, Sunday morning. Two things side by side. Why you need two TVs? Pizza Buffet on, sound on, and then you have the Vikings Steelers game as well, which will be on as well. Great double screen viewing.
And Circle Back dropped this morning at 8 a.m. It's on the Circles Off channel. I think it's one of our best yet. Fantastic vibes on that one and some great content. I would recommend checking it out. Links in the description for all of our channels here at The Hammer. So no excuse to miss out.
Love it. I love all the guests that are on that Circles Off show. Special place in my heart for Isaac because we had a couple fun nights in Vegas. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Quick reminder before we head out next week. We're going to be having, next Monday, Corby Craig will be on batting leadoff for talking some college football, recapping the week that was. And then we're going to have Judah coming on late in the show. Middle slot, got a surprise guest for you, so you guys are going to want to tune in to find out who it is. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. This has been the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by FanDuel. We will see you guys next week.